Hey everyone, Val here, and I am in my kitchen and I'm going to try something that I'm going to hope turns out good, and I hope it turns out healthy. But I'm going to try to cook healthier this year, or bake healthier this year if I do some baking. So I have an old family recipe. It's in our family cookbook, and years ago we put together a family cookbook. We took all of Mom's old recipes and recipes that well, everybody kind of had one or two recipes of Mom's, and we put that all together and we put some of our favorite recipes in there, things that we make, and we put a cookbook together. So that's our cookbook, and one of the recipes in the cookbook is zucchini bread. So when my sister was here not too long ago, she was cooking some meals for me and she left me a couple of zucchinis. So I thought that I would make some zucchini bread today. So I'm just gonna rinse these off. I think they're fairly rinsed, but I'm gonna rinse them off. Now I'm gonna tell you what the original recipe calls for and what I'm gonna do to try to make it healthier. All right, so it's starting out with 3 eggs, and I have my 3 eggs here. I haven't cracked them yet. It has a cup of oil. Now I know my sister tries to cook healthy, and instead of using oil, she uses applesauce. I thought I had applesauce in the house, but I don't, but I did have some apples. So I chopped up an apple, and it made about a 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna use the 1/2 cup of chopped apples, and which they're gonna cook down. And then I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of the canola oil. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pour this canola oil into my cup to make 1 cup here, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside. So instead of having a whole cup of the oil, I've got 1/2 cup of oil and a 1/2 cup of the chopped apples. All right, after that, it's calling for 1.5 cups of sugar. And I wanted to do away with the sugar altogether because I don't want that extra sugar. So I thought of ways that I could try to sweeten it without having all that sugar in there. So what I came up with is I have some flaked coconut, and I'm going to put this in my chopper and I'm going to chop it up, and we're going to use this for the sugar. I'm going to use unsweetened. This is actually unsweetened coconut. I'm going to use the unsweetened coconut and see how that is as a sugar substitute. Like I said, I haven't tried before, but I'm going to try this and see what happens. It's calling for 2 cups of grated zucchini, so I'm going to have to grate up my zucchini. It's calling for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to use 1 cup of the regular all-purpose flour, and I have some gluten-free organic coconut flour. I'm going to use a cup of this so that it's not all flour, it's partially gluten-free flour in it. I have to be careful with my gluten. It's calling for a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, which I need to get off my shelf. I haven't got my cinnamon down. And then it's calling for a cup of raisins and a cup of chopped nuts. I only had 3/4 of a cup of nuts, so I'm going to use all of the nuts, and I have a cup of raisins here. So this is what I'm going to be using. Let me grate my zucchini. Let me go get my cinnamon and measure out my cinnamon, and let's get started. I'm chopping my zucchini using my salad shooter. It works really, really well. I do this for when I make coleslaw and stuff too. I'm sure I'm going to have way more than I need, so what I'm going to end up doing is probably putting a couple cupfuls into individual bags and putting them in the freezer for the next time I make this. Okay, so let's put this together. We're going to start out with beating of 3 eggs. So let me get my 3 eggs into the bowl. And we will beat this up we're going to add oil, sugar, and zucchini. So we have our oil, which is half apple and half oil, and this is the 1 cup of oil. Sugar is going to be our coconut flakes that I ground up. So that's going to be our sugar, and I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it and see what happens, because I'm trying to cut out the sugars if I can and get away with not having sugar. And then we're going to add a zucchini, and our zucchini is going to be 2 cups. So let me get 2 cups of the zucchini, and I should have, like, there probably 1 zucchini would make 2 cups. I chopped the 2 zucchini, so I should have enough in my bowl to do probably another loaf of the zucchini bread. Well, we'll call it zucchini coconut bread because we're adding the coconut to it. All right, so we're going to stir this together, and I'm just going to stir it. Get it well incorporated there. That's not looking bad. Get the apple mixed in there good. All right, and then after that we're going to add the vanilla. And then add our dry ingredients. So our dry ingredients are going to be a cup of the flour and a cup of the coconut flour. And I'm going to put it in the sifter because I don't want chunks. I know the regular flour can get chunky, and I don't want chunks. I'm going to put in my baking soda and my baking powder and my salt, and I'm going to put the cinnamon in. I'm not going to put it in my sifter because I don't want the cinnamon in my sifter, but I'm just going to add this, and it doesn't say to add it in small portions, it just says to add it. So I'm just going to sift it all in there, get the chunks out. Can you see how many chunks are in there? That would have all been in my stuff had I not sifted out. All right, so we don't want the chunks in there. We're going to blend this up nicely. Now y'all guess whether or not this is going to work, because we'll show it at the end once it comes out of the oven. See if this works and how it tastes. Alright, so that's really the last step before we add in the nuts and the raisins. So the nuts and the raisins will be our last step. Add that in there. Mix it together good. And then I'm going to prepare my pans once this is all mixed in and incorporated well. And we'll get it in the pans and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, I put the batter into individual little loaf pans that I have here. I'm gonna pop it in the oven. This says 350 for 60 minutes, but I'm gonna put it in for about 45 minutes and then check it and see how it's looking, because I did alter the recipe, so I'm not sure if it'll alter the cooking time or not. But let's put it in and see what happens. I've taken the cake out of the oven. It was in there about 33 minutes. I had checked on it like right around 25 minutes, I guess. And it looks like a much drier cake than a regular zucchini bread would be. Almost like granola or something. But I'm gonna let it cool and I'll come back and try it and see what it tastes like. Because it smells really, really good. So I'm thinking it's going to have a good flavor to it. But I'm going to just let it cool and we'll come back and look at it. Okay, let's take a look at it. This is what it looks like. Cooked nicely, not burnt on the bottom. And I'm just going to cut a piece off because I never, even when I cook this much, I cut it into 3, or, you know, if it's for breakfast, I might cut it into half and just eat the half of one. But this is what this is looking, ooh, excuse me. So this is what this is looking like. This is what it looks like here. And I'm going to take a bite. So let me try it. Definitely tell that there's absolutely no sugar in it. It's definitely sugar-free. There's no sweetness to it at all. I taste the apple sweetness. There's a little bit of chewiness to the coconut, just a little bit. Tasting the nuts, I didn't get any raisin in that bite. I definitely have the apple taste in there. I definitely have the coconut in there. I think if you warm this up just a tad bit and serve it kind of like you would serve a pancake, just maybe just a little bit of warm, with maybe just a little bit of the light sugar or sugar-free syrup on it, just a little bit of something for some sweet. And I know I'm trying to get rid of the sweet. That was the whole plan of doing this. But I think if you need that sweetness, you could add a little bit of syrup or something to this. I like it. It's not that I don't like it. It's definitely something I can go to and eat. I don't have to have that sweetness. The coconut in here worked. The apple definitely worked because I can taste the sweetness of the apple. I do think if I wanted to get rid of the rest of the oil and I had some applesauce or another apple to add in here and just totally get rid of the oil altogether, I think it would be perfect. Not that I taste oil. I don't taste any greasiness to this. I like the consistency. Is not bad. It's not cakey, not terribly cakey. It's not granola-y. It's kind of an in-between there. But I like it. I'm going to see how it freezes because I individually freeze these so that I can take one out, eat on it for a couple of days. But this is the first time I've tried to cut back the recipe to make it healthier. And I like the way it turned out. So I'm going to experiment with some more recipes coming up in the coming months and within this coming year to try to make things healthier. Got to get these last pounds off me that I want to get off me. I'm really, really working at it. So I think this is a winner. I'm liking the way it turned out. So I'm going to finish eating my piece here. I'm going to pack up the rest of this piece that I cut this off. And I'm going to go and do some knitting. So thank you all for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed and you want to, and if you have any substitutes that you would think would work in this, put them in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear your ideas. So thank you all, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye now.